Okay, good morning and apologies for some delay. So, briefly, will introducing my colleague, Professor Pranab Maurya. Pranab Maurya is Professor in Department of Chemical Engineering. He has done his BTech from Chemical Engineering from IIT Madras and his MS and PhD in Chemical Engineering from Rice University, USA. He also holds additional MSc in Electrical Engineering from Rice University. Professor Maurya, after postdoctoral in US, he joined IIT Bombay as a faculty, and his main area of research are control systems, and recently he has been very active working in education technology as well. So many students have graduated under this college. PhD students have graduated under this college. I would like to mention the work that we have been doing over the last few years, particularly in the area of spoken tutorials, in the area of bridging the digital divide, as we call it. We have created a new concept for spoken tutorials, and briefly we will be talking about that, which is a game changer in educating people about using different facets of computing and using this method. 45 lakh students are benefited now. It's a huge number. Many universities have described the supervisory modules for their regular courses. We will talk about that. So, with this brief introduction, I hand over to Professor.
Thank you, Sachin. Good morning. So, this morning session is something that I'm going to spend some time with you. Please do interrupt anytime if you have any questions. We have a lot of time. But there are also lots of things to talk about. Okay? It is possible that you know many of these things. Right? But only thing is I would like to give a particular perspective that we have taken and we have found to be useful. And if you may find some of these things useful in your colleges also. And some of these things, in fact, most of the things that I am going to talk about are for colleges outside IIT. Outside IIT, which means that these are not, when Professor Sachin Patwardhan said 45 lakh students, obviously we don't have so many students at IIT. They're all students from various colleges in 5,000 colleges across the country. Okay? Some are engineering colleges, let's say about 2,000 are engineering colleges, another 3,000 are arts, science, commerce colleges. As a result, what I am going to talk about is general purpose, it's going to be useful to a lot of people. The other methods, so we will start with spoken tutorial, then I will talk about clickers. I've got some demo, in fact you will all participate in this, and then we will have, I will spend some time on flipped method. I will also talk about MOOCs. Okay? As a matter of fact, spoken tutorial has been accepted as MOOCs in many places. MOOCs for lab. NPTEL courses have been accepted as MOOCs for theory courses, whereas spoken tutorials have been accepted as MOOCs for lab courses in many places. Spoken tutorials are also available on the SWAYAM platform, which is one of the requirements that it has to be on SWAYAM for you to accept it as MOOCs. Okay? So, I am going to explain to you how we developed this. This 45 lakh training didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in the last 1 year. We have been doing it for several years. We have improved, we have perfected. Okay? And it is available absolutely free of cost. It has been tailored for colleges like yours. Okay, I am going to explain to you. And I am going to first motivate what made us do this. Why did we, get into something called spoken tutorial? Okay. In fact, in case anybody has a question, as I go through if you have a question why I called it spoken tutorial, I'll be glad to answer that also. So in the first part, in this, I'm going to talk about three topics: spoken tutorial, FOSSEE, and an affordable laptop. So we'll do all of this. First, the motivation question. Why did we do this? So let me ask you this question. How many of you think that there is an employment crisis for engineers? How many of you think that there is an employment crisis? Okay. In fact, most of you will agree. Most of you will agree. Whole country will say yes. It's a crisis. Right? It's a crisis. As a matter of fact, because of that, we are actually closing down engineering colleges. Right? Closing down engineering colleges because we are producing too many. Okay, and the reason for closing down is we are producing too many bad engineers. Engineers are not getting properly trained. So what's the point in producing them? College seats are going empty and stuff like that. Right? So this is on the one hand. That on the other hand, look at this. So I want to know, why do you think so many people are not getting trained? Somebody can answer. Why so many people are not getting employment? You say it's a crisis. Why so many people are not getting employment? What do you think? Not properly trained. Okay. Next, I have a slide. It's actually a very scary slide. Okay. The information in that. Sorry, there is no some scary monster or something. But you will see the information in that. Okay. This of course came last year. So this came from ACM, American Computing Machinery. It came from ACM. This is based on a programming test conducted for BTech students belonging to computer science and IT streams. 36,000 students were selected from 500 colleges. From 500 engineering colleges, 36,000 students who are not in, let's say, chemical engineering, not in civil engineering. We are talking about computer science and IT streams. And they were given some programming test. It was found that only 35% of the code would compile. Forget about giving correct answer. Only 35% could write code that compiled. Only 5% could write code that compiled and gave answers, correct answers. 5%. So they put this 95%. They put 95% cannot code. Actually, the situation is worse than that. Why? Because it turns out that only 1.4% of the students wrote code that compiled correctly, gave the correct answer efficiently. How many of you think that when we write a computer code, it should run efficiently? How many of you think? All of you. Who will say that it should run inefficiently? So this is actually worse than this. I would say about 99% of our students cannot write good code. 95% cannot even write code that works. What a situation. So this is the reason when companies go for interviews, IT companies, when they go for interviews, they have to talk to 100 people to select one person. They have to talk to 100 people to select one person. Right? Which means, imagine the number of colleges they have to go to. Because a college may not have 100 students. So they may have to go to several colleges before they find one person. It's a lot of effort. When this is the situation, companies will be scared to bid for projects, high-end projects. If I bid for high-end projects, there is a lot of income. Just to give an example, we are trying to develop some web pages using Drupal. Okay, Drupal is a web page development tool based on PHP, and we had to pay $25 per hour to get the work done. At IIT Bombay government approved us. They said, okay, you can do this. That means 1,500 rupees per hour. Maybe a little more, 1,800 rupees per hour. Per hour we paid to a company in India, sitting in India. The reason is there are not many Drupal programmers. I asked this question, why should that person who is maybe only 5-year, he has only 5-year training or she has only 5-year training into Drupal, why is she getting more salary than a professor? Okay. Why can't we produce more people? Why can't it come to realistic numbers? Because there is a shortage. Why there is a shortage? Because of this 1%. So while on the one hand we complain about lack of jobs, there is also a fact that good people are not available, making our development cost very high. Very high. Because that web page, why should I take so much money? Why should I pay so much money? We don't get so much salary. You don't get so much salary. Why are we paying so much? So there is a big gap between what is required and where we are. Where we are. I would say let's produce lots of Drupal people. Let it come from, let the salary come to about, let's say, 2 lakhs per year, 2 lakhs per month. I'm okay with 2 lakhs per month. Somebody takes 2 lakhs per month, but this is a lot more. 1,500 rupees per hour. Just imagine. Right? And also if somebody who is only 5-year experience, I would say 50,000, 60,000 should be a reasonable salary. For a BTech with 5-year experience, gets 50,000, 60,000, reasonable salary. Why don't we produce enough people so that the salary comes to that level? Then we undertake a lot of these development work. Right now, a lot of development work is stopped because our cost of development is very high. High-end jobs are very expensive. Okay? So this is extremely important. This is getting, of course, this happened last year. I'm talking about this because this happened in May 2017, this test. And this, this happened last year, right? So it was not so bad, it is getting worse and worse. Day by day it is getting worse. So we started with our project to say that, can I improve the employment potential? That's how, let's start with this. So the spoken tutorial was created to broad-base IT training, okay, and to make it available to the whole country. Okay. Motive, employment through IT. 50% of Indians are below 25 years. 2/3 are below 35 years. We are a very young country. Pain points like we discussed, education quality, finding good teachers, providing jobs. But if you look at it as an opportunity, because we need lots of development work to be done, lot of web pages to be developed. Every faculty member, for example, every professor would like to have his or her own web developer. Because on the one hand, you see MCA students without jobs. I don't mind paying 10,000 rupees to a person every month, provided he or she develops my page. Because I'll go get some funding, government is giving funds, I'll get some consultancy, whatever. So why can't I bridge that gap? So every faculty member gets a good MCA programmer who otherwise is jobless. He works with you, gets 10,000 rupees a month, at the end of 1 or 2 years, goes out and say, hey, I can do this. And you give a recommendation letter, they get a job. So why don't we do that? So, there are many opportunities. You all know the population of India. Well, actually not exactly, because our Prime Minister always says Sawaso crore, right? But some other people say that it is 1.3 billion. So we can say approximately 1.25, 1.3 billion people. Do you know the population of Africa? Entire African continent. Do you know that? It is slightly less. Yeah. It is 1.05 billion people for the entire Africa. Okay. So we say we are subcontinent, but we have more people than the entire African continent, because Africa has only 1.05. So if you look at it as a market, big market, huge market, lots of opportunities. Lots of opportunities. Like I said, every faculty member can recruit one MCA, give a job to one MCA person at 10,000 a month. Provided he or she knows. Provided he or she knows. Can create a web page for you, maintain it for you, connect it to your college. Right? So, we said IT training can improve employment potential. Okay? Very simple thing. You will see, I'm not going to talk about highly complicated stuff. Very simple. That's why I said you all know this, but I'm going to give a perspective. Okay? So, this is, then we started, okay, when we started this national project in 2009. Our project was funded by the National Mission on Education through ICT, MHRD. Right? So, we started, okay, we said that we want to come up with an IT training method. How do we make it available to people? Okay. Then we found that most students in India don't go to good colleges, because good colleges make up some 5%, maybe 10%. What about the remaining 90%? They don't go to good colleges. They don't go to good colleges. In those colleges, there are no teachers. There are no teachers. Of course, there are colleges that don't exist. So let's not worry about them. I'm talking about the colleges that have buildings and all that, but there are no teachers. So if my method is to be useful to everybody, okay, thanks to Dr. Abdul Kalam, we all want to live in a developed country. We all want to live in a developed country, right? And we cannot become a developed country by taking only the top 10% of the people going up. If you have to be a developed country, we have to take the whole country along. That is why we said, if you look at my whole thing, I'm talking about 95% of people in India. Okay, not just IITs, NITs, metros, top 10% affluent people. No, we are talking about the whole country. Right? So, most students, when I say most students, I'm talking about majority of our students, 90% of our students, not having access to good teachers. You agree with me? Yes? So I said, can I come up with a method that is useful, that students can learn even if they don't have good teachers? Right? Most of us, the problem, the tragedy we have is most of our students are smart. And when they go to colleges, only some 5-10% go to good colleges. Other people are smart. So our students are smart, our teachers are not so smart. Majority. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about the top 5%, top 10%. I'm talking about majority of the tier 3, tier 4 colleges. Right? So we said, can we give a method, create a method that can be used by students even if they don't have good teachers? Okay? This is how we started. So my solution to this problem is make the content suitable for self-learning. So even if teachers are not there, students are motivated, they can learn by themselves. Okay. I also want to, I've been thinking about this for quite some time. I want to know what you think about it. You take any college in India, any school in India, anywhere in India, villages, rural area, wherever, I claim that on an average, about 10% of the students there, wherever it is, would have done extremely well anywhere in the world. Do you agree with that? You take any school, any college, anywhere in India, take the top 10% of the students. Top 10% means I don't mean magus or mugging up. I'm saying 10% in the population will be as good as anybody. They could have done very well anywhere in the world. Okay, that is my hypothesis. It could be 7% somewhere, 12% somewhere else, 13%, whatever, but on average about 10%. Okay, and they are all stuck. They are all stuck because they are from poor family, okay, uneducated family, family constraint, whatever it is, they are stuck there. But they are as good as anywhere. So, but they don't have access to good college, good school, good resources. If we have a method suitable for self-learning given to them, those guys will learn. Okay? So then we ask the next question, make the content, so how do I make the content suitable for self-learning? So first question, teachers are not there, what do I do? Make the content suitable for self-learning. So how do I do that? So this is the design question. Content should be suitable for self-learning. How do I achieve it? So we came up with a method. So we in fact got this idea, got the answer to this from our movie industry. From our movie industry. Before a movie is made, what does the producer or director look for? What do they look for? Script. Script. So people say, I had a great script. Okay. So we said, we will also write script. For every one of our tutorial, we will write script. Okay. It is unusual because we don't write the script before speaking. I am giving an extempore talk. I speak whatever that comes to my mind. Right. That's how we all go and lecture. We know the subject. We can give a talk. But we said, we will write the script. Before it is recorded. What we normally do is, for example, NPTEL, we give lecture, record it, transcribe what we say. What did he say? Write it down. So that's a reverse. Here I am saying, write the script first. Why write the script first? Ask a beginner to go through the script and certify, yes, I can understand each and every line. Novice check. Novice means a beginner. A beginner. Beginner has to certify that, yes, I can understand every command. Normally, IT training, tutorials and so on, IT, who are the best people? That will be some youngest person. For example, you might have seen your children, your grandchildren, very good. How did they learn to play that game? Nobody gave, there is no instructional material. How did they play? How come they are playing all the time? Who taught them? So, as we grow older and older, we know less and less in this area. We don't have to be ashamed of it. Whenever I teach, I have a problem, I'll ask students, does anybody know? Somebody will say, okay, come and explain. That's it. Problem solved. We encourage them, let's do it. Let's understand. We are good in something, they are good in something. We will work as a community and get things done. Right? So, the experts are often young people. When they create a material and you say, look, I have difficulty, I don't understand this time. What a stupid question, don't you know this? So I tell them, sorry, my method is for stupids. You have to explain. Every line is something a beginner should understand. It is not an easy thing because they will write, you start, you find so many holes. Go back 2-3 times. Afterwards, this fellow is no longer a beginner. I have to find a new beginner. Because this guy has become an expert through this process. I can't use them. So I have to find somebody else. As a result, it's actually a difficult process. Difficult process, it takes a lot of time. I always say, if you make an average tutorial, 10 people will watch it. If you make it 10 times better, 10,000 people will watch it. So I tell my people, when you create a tutorial, keep that girl in your mind. She is the one who gets time to watch your tutorial only at midnight. Why? Because she was busy with a lot of other work, household work. She does all that. midnight, only she has time, motivated, opens the video. She has a question and there is nobody to answer because it's midnight. Keep her in mind. She should not have any questions. She should not have any questions. Okay? So that means you have to make it 10 times better. You make it 10 times better, 10,000 people will watch it. It turns out that our C spoken tutorials have been used by more than 5 lakh students. So people used to complain and scold me, you're a dictator, why are you forcing? And this Ashwini Patil, who created this tutorial when she was 24 years old, she was an MSc graduate, made her do this. She saw lakhs of people using, then she says, okay, now my people don't complain to me at all. So when you make an average tutorial, 10 people will watch it. If you make it 10 times better, 10,000 people will watch it. Maybe even 10 lakh, given the size of our country. Okay? So this is very fundamental that a beginner should be able to understand. It turns out that we are always a beginner in something. You know C, you don't know Python, you're a beginner. You know Python, you don't know Django, you're a beginner. You don't know Scilab, you're a beginner. You don't know LaTeX, you're a beginner. So on and so forth. Right? So that way, this is useful to everybody. And in fact, if you are an expert in something, then you are scared to ask somebody. They'll say, oh, he doesn't know, she doesn't know. So it is even more applicable to some experts, right? When you start a new one, right? So do a novice check of script before recording. Okay, let me show you some script, what it looks like. I will also give an idea of what a spoken tutorial is. I have already opened this web page. So let me start with C spoken tutorials, most popular one in our series.
Welcome to the spoken tutorial on tokens in C and C++. In this tutorial, we will learn how to define and use tokens. We will do this with the help of an example. We will also see some common errors and their solutions.
Okay, you can see that, right?
To record this tutorial, I am using Ubuntu.
So this is the script. Script is written. Script says what to show. Visual cue means show this slide. And then narration means what to speak. What to show, what to speak. What to show, what to speak. So this script is given first to a beginner. And they have to certify. Yes, I can read. Using this, I could practice. I could practice. I got stuck here. Improve it. Go back. Okay, now I can validate. I can do the whole thing. Accepted for recording. Okay. Then we said, sorry. I'm coming to that. So now we have created the tutorial. Now we are going to roll it out to the whole country, and there are students who are going to learn by themselves. So the learning pedagogy should be effective. Pedagogy means the science of learning or method of learning. So it has to do with learning. Yeah. If you look at pedagogy, you can even look at of course the meaning has slightly changed from the way it is. Let's do pedagogy meaning. Okay. Method of practice of teaching, especially as an academic subject or theoretical concept. Right? That's all. Now you have, yeah. So now you don't have to worry about not knowing anything. Mata, Pita, Google, Deivam. Right? Just do Google, you get the answer, no problem. Right? So it's a method of teaching. Right? So I said that supposing we have these tutorials, we have created them, right? We have created them. Students are going to learn all over the country. They are going to learn by themselves. Okay? So what are the things that we need to do for this? One is creation of the tutorial. The second thing, even with the script and so on, we found that normally when we teach in a class, we teach the theory first. We teach the theory first and then give example. Theory, example. So you teach a theory and the student has a question. Who will she ask? There is nobody to ask. Nobody to ask. So we said theory will not come at the beginning. Because when I teach a class, I'll teach theory and give examples. Right? But lots of theory, students have questions, there is nobody to answer. So we said that we will give examples first. We will say things like, do this, click this, type this. What you have is something called a letter. You can write letters for jobs, leave, employment, whatever, passport, whatever. So the theory comes later. Initially they are told, do this, type this, click this, drag this. So this is based on active learning. Whatever I show you do. Believe in me, have belief. Okay, if you follow this, you will produce something useful. Is that okay? So that is one change we had to do. We have to change the sequencing of contents. And then we also have a rule that 80% is something that people should be able to reproduce. 20%, only 20% is theory in every lecture. Okay, now learning pedagogy should be effective. We came up with a method called side-by-side learning. Side-by-side learning. What is it? You see on the screen, I have opened a software called Scilab. Okay? There are actually two parts. On the left hand side, you have the video. On the right hand side, you have the software itself. Keep them side by side. I should see, pause, try it out. If it works, go to the next command. If not, rewind, listen to it, try. It will always work because it is created for self-learning. If it doesn't work, that's because you didn't follow exactly what I told you. Go back and start from the beginning. It will always work. Listen to whatever I do carefully and do it, it will always work. So I'll give an example. So here, for example, let's listen to this little bit. Okay, let's listen to the name of the file.
Let us start with our program. I have already typed the code on the editor. Let me open it. Note that our file name is tokens.c.
So she has opened a file called tokens.c. Right? Now, we give that file to people. Whatever is used in that video is given to people. Where is it given? If you see here, there is something called code file. Can you see this? Okay, let me open that. Okay. So it's opened. Tokens.c. Okay, here it is. So if you see here, so this is the side-by-side method. I have the video here, I have the software. Right?
In this program, we will initialize the variables and print their values.
Okay, so I can listen to a command and whatever she says, if she says do something, I will do it on this file. Open that means don't maximize. For example, I can maximize, which is what we normally do. But then you see only one thing. I am saying don't do this. Don't do this. You unmaximize. One of the buttons will help you do that. Rearrange using that handle like this. Right? And either side, open that software itself. This is software, this is a file. This is a file called tokens.c. Because she is opened tokens.c, that file comes with in that web page itself. You understand that? Whatever is required, because sometimes we say, I'm going to teach you, okay, something fell down. So we could say, I'm going to show you how to plot some data. And we go to a software, we start plotting, but the student doesn't know how to do it because there is no data. The data file is not there. So we tell him, give the data file. Whatever you are using, give it to him, give it to her. So they can do side by side. Whatever you do, they should be able to do. Should have identical environment to the one shown in the video, right? So we came up with a method called side by side learning. You understand? That's a side by side. There are two things. One is the video, the other is the software. Okay? Now, we want this to be available to every student in the country, no matter where he or she is from, no matter in which state, whether it is in Tamil Nadu or Kashmir or Arunachal Pradesh. Wherever it is, they should be able to open. That means, so we said, we came up with a policy decision to achieve that at the lowest cost, that video should be available free of cost. We could do that because government is funding. MHRD funded this project. We said we'll give it free, no problem. But the software should also be available free of cost. We should not expect the student to pay. So for example, if we say use MATLAB, MATLAB is very expensive, how can they pay? So we said software also should be free. So it's an important policy decision. It's like saying you should wear uniform and come to school. That is extremely important. You all know why we wear uniform in school. Because we don't want children to know that I am from a rich family, you are from a poor family. They all look about the same. We don't want, at least in younger mind, to get that, right? So here also we say that it should not happen that poor schools cannot afford this method itself. I can't use this method, useless method, because you are teaching me how to use MATLAB. I don't have MATLAB. What's the point? We also said with government money, we should not teach proprietary tools. That will be accessible only to some families. Okay, so we said we will restrict ourselves only to open source software. It's a policy decision. Sometimes people ask, why don't you teach MATLAB? Sorry, I can't do that. If they want to do it, company wants to do it, let them teach. This is government money, taxpayers' money. It should be on non-proprietary tool, only open source software. So this was a policy decision we made. You all agree? Okay. Okay, now I want to say a little bit about open source software. It's extremely important. By the way, I have created this slide using a software called LaTeX. LaTeX, and I'll just show you what this looks like. So this is the software. You don't have to learn about it, but I just wanted to give you a feel of what it is. Let me close this. LaTeX. LaTeX, but then it is not X, it is kappa. So we say LaTeX. Okay, spelt latex, pronounced LaTeX. Okay, so we created using this. In fact, I offered at the beginning, can everybody bring a laptop? I'll teach them how to use LaTeX. But that was not possible. But I'm going to teach you, I'm going to tell you how you can organize this in your college, how our team is ready to help you. I'm going to show you all that. Okay. So open source software, it's accessible to everybody. Commercial software is very expensive. Heavy penalties if unauthorized software is used by industry. I'm going to skip these stories. There are lots of nice stories. Our small and medium scale, let me just say that if industry uses any pirated software, unauthorized software, they can get into trouble. They may even have to go to jail. The company will have to close down. So that is about, companies. But even a small time fellow, for example, I am a marriage photographer. I go and take these pictures. I go and edit Adobe Photoshop, but I don't have a legal license. A policeman can come, just harass me. you have illegal software. Unless you pay me 1,000 rupees, okay, you'll have to come to jail. Right? So, it is going to affect everybody, top to bottom. Right? So, our small and medium scale enterprises don't use any software because we teach MATLAB in the class. And when our students go out, MATLAB is not available. They don't know how to use Scilab. Scilab is very good, but we don't teach them how to use Scilab because it's not so popular as MATLAB. Right? So obviously they cannot use that software. They can't use MATLAB because MATLAB is expensive. They cannot use Scilab because Scilab they don't know how to use. So teaching, I would say that teaching how to use a proprietary software is as good as teaching them a book that they cannot take outside the compound walls of the college. So it's extremely important. If we want to be responsible to our society, we better make sure that they can use something that they can practice outside. Right? So commercial software is expensive. They are not aware of open source software. So it makes our small companies uncompetitive. Just to give another example, suppose there is an organization, let's say NASA. NASA says, I want this software to be developed for my rocket launch. This is a software, global tender. And there is a multinational company that says that I have MATLAB, I'll develop it and give it to you. It costs me so much. Costs me so much that includes the license cost also of MATLAB. It can be quite high. Okay. Sometimes it can even be in crores. Okay. Whereas there is a small company, let's say from India, it says that, look, I can produce the same thing using Scilab. So I develop it and give it to them. Identical performance, no difference. My development cost is less because I don't have to pay for MATLAB license. Because if I pay for MATLAB for development purpose, I have to recover that money. Where will I get it from? I have to collect it from the company. But I don't have to do that because Scilab is free. So what do? My cost is lower. Now when the company buys it, in this case NASA, if they have the MATLAB based solution, they need to have a copy of MATLAB to run it. That means they also need to have MATLAB to run it. Okay? So, whereas if it is Scilab, they don't need that, Scilab is free. They can download it, run it, say fine. You understand? Some companies may even have a policy, I will only run MATLAB. I will use only MATLAB. Supposing a company has a policy like that, for whatever reason. For example, some of our companies, in fact, Dr. Reddy's lab came and said, they talked about a software called Aspen Plus for chemical engineers. Aspen Plus, right? But they have only one copy. They have 10 engineers. But only one copy. Okay, they have to wait for their turn to try it. Obviously, they cannot take it home. They cannot, for example, if they spend 2 hours traveling, they cannot say, oh, I have got an idea, let me try it out. 2 hours are there, let me try it out. They can't do that. Because there is only one copy in the whole company, because it's very expensive. Very expensive. It could be of the order of 1 crore, for example, keeping all the components. Whereas if they do the same thing with an equivalent software called DWSim, then they can use it. Even if the company policy is that they have to validate in Aspen Plus, they can say all the intermediate calculations can be done by all my engineers whenever they want, at home or office, all while traveling using DWSim. Right? Everything is validated. Finally, I'll take it, plug it into this commercial thing, make sure it gives the same answer. Fine. So even if it is a company policy to use some proprietary software X, it makes sense to use the open source equivalent until the last minute, because these things are very expensive and you might have only one license, right? In fact, that was a story about this Wipro. Wipro said that they have only one copy of MATLAB. Anybody who wants to use MATLAB should block, I want to use MATLAB next Thursday 4 to 7. So if it is available, you block it, you can use only during that time. There's only one license. Because if you use it illegally, you will get into trouble. Right? Lots of money. The company may even have to close down. Right? So, FOSS stands for Free and Open Source Software. Free and Open Source Software. What does FOSSEE stand for? Free and Open Source Software for Education. For education. Okay? Why FOSS? It's free of cost. It's affordable to industry. It also allows people to become better programmers. What do I mean by this? Supposing there is an auto mechanic, car mechanic. You give him a car and say, here is a car, but you cannot open the hood. You cannot open the hood. What kind of car mechanic will he make? Whereas if it is open source software, you have the source code. We want our IT people to say, go through it and say, no, I don't like this, I'll put something else. I'll modify it. It's like saying, I want to put up bigger tires in my car. Right? I want to remove this engine and put some other engine. I want our people to be able to do that. That is possible only when we work with open source software. Right? It allows learners to become better programmers like auto mechanics. It allows good learning. Side-by-side method is not possible. Not possible, not scalable if I don't use open source software. Right? So I say that use proprietary software only when it is required. For example, it may be your policy. Maybe you say that, look, I have a conference paper. For that, I need a toolbox. That's available only in MATLAB. Use it. Because of that, don't say that I will teach, to teach FFT, I need MATLAB. Because FFT can be done with Scilab. Optimization can be done with Scilab. So only when it is absolutely necessary, use proprietary tool. Of course, it increases the work because you have to learn two things. Yeah, there is a question there. Open source. There are lots of open source, I'm going to talk about it. It's a community. Community like you and me and several other people. Okay, I'm going to show you some other things, some fantastic things we have done in Scilab that you can actually start using it right away. I'm going to show you that. Okay. Problem with open source software, we don't know what they are. We don't know who makes them. We don't know how to use them. Even if somebody says, I told LaTeX, you may not know how to use it. Documents are missing. There is no, if it is a company, that company wants to make profit. So it makes nice brochures and gives it to you. Nice manuals. Invites you to a 5-star hotel. Give good lunch and all that. Because they want you to pay a few lakhs and buy a copy of MATLAB. Unfortunately, in open source software, that is not there. Right? There is nobody. I created, I make it available, but I don't have money to go around telling people, come and use it. So people don't know about it. So good documents are missing, lack of support, and wrong impression about the quality. Oh, open source, so it must be bad, must be useless. Yes. Lack of support means not financial support. Not. So for example, I have a question. Somebody has to give an answer. I don't know, I'm getting stuck here. I'm using this software, I'm getting stuck. So that's why you have the open source, you have the forums and forum support. So that is a lack of support. Means, for example, if you buy MATLAB and you pay for support, they will say that you can ask so many questions in a month. I will answer within 1 hour. But you have to pay 5 lakhs every year. So here support is, you might say, look, I am ready to pay a little bit. But there is no support because it's open source. Right? Lack of support. Wrong impression about the quality. Right? Huh? Less number of developers. Okay, I'll answer some of these things. I have a topic, I have a section called FOSS. I'm going to explain all this in great detail. So if it is a question I'm going to address anyway, I'll skip that question. But go ahead and ask the question.
We can understand that this free of cost for academicians and students, all right. But why is it free for industry?
Yeah, it is free for industry.
No, but
It-
is it justifiable that it is free for industry also?
Why you are saying, okay, true. So the question is, why should it be made free for industry? Why should it be made free for industry? Good question. So what will happen is, remember I told you about NASA asking for some simulator, and there are two solutions, one using MATLAB, the other one using Scilab. The small company, Indian company, uses Scilab, it builds models, charges for them. It charges for them. I didn't say they are giving it free, they are putting in effort. In other words, it's a platform. It's an open source platform, MATLAB and Scilab, right? Scilab is available to everybody, free of cost, but whatever they develop on top of it, I can charge. That will be given only to that company. Right? Of course, I have that. I can modify it and give it to somebody else and make money. But I don't have to buy the platform. You understand? So in fact, in our country, in a human resource rich country like ours, open source is a great solution because the initial infrastructure cost is zero. I need to charge only for what I do on top of it, and I will make it available only to you. It is open source based solution, but what is going to happen at NASA using this simulator, that particular part is available only with NASA. Okay? But then I might say I'm a company, I'm a small company, I'm developing it, I'm benefiting by Scilab. Then I say that, well, in Scilab, if there is an extra button, it will be nice. So I create that button. Then I say, hey, there is nothing, there is no commercial value, but it will be useful to the society. I release it as open source. So originally I had Scilab, now I have Scilab with a small button. Now this is available to everybody. So even though I made my commercial model for NASA and I didn't release it to the public, I still improved Scilab itself and released it to the public. This way, if a lot of people start using it, tool gets better and better. You understand? Yeah. Wrong impression about the quality. Okay, this is FOSSEE, free and open source software for education. By the way, this PDF file will be made available to you. Okay, lack of computers is another problem. Remember, now let me come back. Let me start with what we started with. We said that we want to provide IT training, and then we said that students don't have access to good teachers. We said that content should be suitable for self-learning, and then for that we did a novice check of the script. Then we said pedagogy, side-by-side learning. Then we said we have to use open source software because open source software only will allow me side-by-side learning. Okay. Then next problem our students face is lack of computers. Okay, lack of computers. Okay, so we came up with a 10,000 rupee laptop. Is it that? Can you just lift it? Can people see? Yeah, that's a 10,000 rupee laptop. I'm going to talk about it later. Kasim, sit. Okay, he's the manager in this project, but I'm going to talk about it later. We said, can we come up with low cost laptops? All our students have mobile phones. Okay, 90% of our students have mobile phones, smartphones. Only 10% have laptops though. It's a laptop that's going to give them employment opportunity, not mobile phone. So, but then we cannot afford it, so we came up with a 10,000 rupee laptop. We did a detailed study, so I will talk about it later in this lecture itself. Okay, then of course you can see the laptop also. Okay, lack of computers, we came up with another solution because people still need money to buy this. So we said, organize workshops through colleges. Laptops will be good, but what if they don't have laptop? But colleges have laptops, colleges have computers. Can we organize our workshops, side-by-side learning? Can we organize them through colleges? Right? Organizing workshops, we came up with a concept called self-workshop. What is a self workshop? Spoken tutorial based education and learning through free FOSS study workshops. FOSS means free and open source software. We came up with this thing called self workshop. Is that okay? So what are our self workshops? These are 2-hour workshops. 2-hour workshops. Our tutorial is 10-minute long, 10-minute duration. You take something, do a little bit, you explain the concept, that topic is over, video is over. Okay? So what happens in the 2 hours? People learn how to use spoken tutorials. That you have to do side-by-side learning. You have to open this. This software is already installed. We get the software installed ahead of the workshop. Before the workshop, we do a dummy test. Not dummy test, we call it, it's a workshop for dummies, instruction sheet for dummies. Okay? You might have seen C for dummies and so on and so forth. That way we have that, they have to put a checklist. You have to say laptop 1. They have to put a tick mark. It is booting. Sound system is working. So on and so forth. For every laptop 2, tick, 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 tick. Laptop 3. So every laptop has to be checked. We create that form and send it to colleges. So we call it preparedness test. That you are prepared. Software is installed. Spoken tutorial is copied. Okay? Instruction sheet is printed. And so on. We have the preparedness sheet that they have to fill. Right? So in 2-hour workshop, it's only 2-hour workshop. Okay? They learn how to learn from the spoken tutorial. So first tutorial, it may take half an hour, even though it is 10 minutes, because you'll have to open it, you have to listen to a command, practice it. Listen, practice. Okay? If you don't understand, rewind. Sometimes you make a mistake, you want to do something else. We come back and say, sorry, you have to do what I asked you to do. Start all over again. So initially it may take half an hour. So in 2 hours, one may do like 3 tutorials. Okay, fine. Then we say, copy the remaining tutorials on your pen drive. Take them with you. Take them with you. Whenever you can, go and listen to it. Right? And this can be organized by a volunteer. Expert is not required. In our workshop, there is no instructor. Because the learning happens through side-by-side learning of the videos. Learning happens through the side-by-side learning of the videos. The organizer only has to make sure that everything is working. That checklist has to be ticked. Okay, electricity is on. There is water in case somebody wants water. Lighting is on. So on and so forth. They are a conductor. They don't deliver any lecture. They are not experts. Need not be experts. Do you understand? Because otherwise, how do we reach that tier 3, tier 4 colleges? There is no teacher. There is nobody who can answer Django question. Here we are saying, okay, here it is, follow step by step, you understand. Right? And one volunteer can run different workshops. Because the method is the same, whether it is Java or C or PHP, method is the same. Side by side, listen to one command at a time, practice. If it works, go to the next command. If not, rewind, listen to it. It will always work because it is created for self-learning. Do you all agree with this? Yeah. It can be offered through educational institutions. Individual computers are not required. No policy decision required because all the workshops are offered free of cost. All the workshops are offered free of cost. In fact, let me show you our people, team members who can help you organize these workshops in your colleges. I'm going to show you how you can locate this information. So let's go to our website, spoken-tutorial.org. In fact, you don't even have to remember this. Just say spoken. If you just do spoken tutorial Google search, the very first hit is ours. In fact, for 10 pages, it's ours. Because it is used so much. Just go through it. Okay. And so on. It's all IIT Bombay. Now, you come here And then on the top side, you see software training. Top row, you see this software training. If you click this, you'll see contacts for training. Contacts for training. If you click this, it tells you different states, who my staff member is, their email address, phone number. Their email address and phone number. You can call them up. In fact, I suggest you call them up today. You call them up during the break now. And you tell me afterwards, after the break, whether anybody answered. Okay. What are the different states? Is there anybody from West Bengal here? What states are you from? Rajasthan? Okay, Rajasthan, Jammu, Kashmir, what else? Orissa, then? Okay, Rajasthan, Jammu, Kashmir, Orissa, Andhra, is it? Andhra. Anybody from Andhra? Yeah, there is one person. Any other state? Did I miss any state? Okay, I'll show you. So Andhra, here is a person, Ruchi Sharma. Let me make it bigger. Andhra Pradesh, Ruchi Sharma, you can see the phone number. Of course, you can always go to your mobile phone and then do that. And then, actually there are two people. Orissa, here it is. See the 17, line number 17. Okay, that is Orissa. Rajasthan, we have two people. Call them up and say, hey, we want to organize workshop in our college. Just see, find out whether they say yes or no. If they say no, come and report to me. They get salary, they get paid to conduct workshops free of cost in your college. And they are paid by taxpayers' money. They are paid by MHRD funding. So they better organize these workshops in your college. Sorry? Every college. Rajasthan. Every college. You tell me that because they said it is this college, I won't accept it. I don't like the name of that college. Let them say that. They will lose their job. They will lose their job. If they say that, they will lose their job. If they don't organize the workshop, they will lose their job. Okay? That I can assure you. So this information is already there. Difficult to find slots. This is the next problem. We are still solving, spoken tutorial methodology, I'm still introducing. There are so many other aspects, right? Difficult to find slots. My class, every hour is full. When do I conduct my self-workshop? When do I conduct spoken tutorial workshop? There is also a problem, continuity of organizers. Solution included in timetable. So now, 37,000 college lab courses are using it. We use a method called mapping. What is a mapping method? A college says, okay, I have BSc IT program, BSc IT. Second year BSc IT students have a Java lab. They will come every Tuesday afternoon 2 to 5. Suppose I say that. They will come 10 times in a semester. So first lab, they will do this. They will learn variables, they will learn some loops and so on. Okay, then I tell them, okay, then you must listen to these tutorials. Next week they will come and say, I have functions. Then I will tell them, okay, listen to this. So that mapping between the curriculum and spoken tutorials. So I do that mapping. We have done this for 100 universities. 100 universities. And we have gone through their academic council, we have gone through their senate, we have gone through their head of the department, principal, vice chancellor, everybody. Finally, the vice chancellor gives a note saying that this is acceptable to our university. You can actually use it. So in these 37,000 college lab programs, they call it spoken tutorial lab. Spoken tutorial lab. That is why when MOOCs came, many universities said, you're going to use it as MOOCs. You can use it as MOOCs. Okay, we'll talk about MOOCs little later. Right now 37,000 college lab courses have put spoken tutorials in the timetables. Let me show you some example of this. So in our spoken tutorial web page, there is a button here called statistics. Can you see that? So if I click that, it takes me to, oops, to statistics training. That's what I did. And you can see this. Okay. So if I enlarge this, actually this gives the training numbers. This year we have trained 3,87,000 people. Last year we trained 15 lakh students. The year before we trained 16 lakh students. Now who are these people? That information is here. For example, this has the information. Totally 45 lakh people have been trained. The latest one is, of course, now we have a semester system. So they actually start that. Gujarat, Bhavnagar, Uttar Pradesh, Sultanpur, Bengal, Siliguri, Rajasthan, Udaipur. Anybody here is from New Look Girls College, Pratapura. Anybody is there? Okay, from Rajasthan, you have not heard, there are so many colleges. Okay. Okay, you tell me what college you are from. Okay, hold on. Let's see whether your college is doing it already. Rajasthan, what city? Udaipur? Yeah, let's do one at a time. Let's Udaipur, let me filter and see whether we are training anybody. 142 workshops have happened in Udaipur. Your college may or may not be there, but look at this. Sorry? Yes, everybody. That's, I told you, BSc and so on. Aravali College, okay. Meera Girls College, Udaipur. Have you heard of it? Dronachar College, Binder, okay. Nadatwara Institute of Biotechnology and Management. Have you heard of that college? Okay. Udaipur. So, and if you take anything, for example, here this says, okay, let's go to one of your other colleges. Let's go to Jaipur. Let's go to Jaipur, right? Look at the number. 1,366 colleges training almost 1 lakh students across the state. Here it is. Lal Bahadur Shastri PG College. Okay. Government College, Bandipur. Yeah. Maharishi Arvind Institute of Science and Management, University of Rajasthan, and so on. Okay. Now, if you see here, this Lal Bahadur Shastri PG College, Jaipur, claims that they have trained 154 people. I can view the participants. See that 154? Yeah. So in other words, all the names, 45 lakh people, I am telling you, I know who they are. Right? Because here you say 96,000, that is 1 lakh. These are students. You can actually organize it for your students. Supposing you have C programming lab and you say we are short of people, take spoken tutorial help. We will be happy to organize it for you. Java lab, you have difficulty organizing, we will be ready to organize it for you. Java, PHP, LaTeX, Scilab, whatever it is, we are ready to organize it for you, free of cost. All open source, free of cost, you don't have to pay. Now this 96,000, if you look at this, see this number 96,000? Say 1 lakh. Now you see, I have 20 entries per page, and how many such pages are there? 69 pages. Okay. So, I have 68 into 20 plus 6. That's a number here, 1366. That's the number 1366. Every page I am listing 20, there are 66 pages, 68 pages, multiply it, add the number, that's the number of workshops. In every workshop, how many people are there? That is, details are here, how many participants, that number is coming here. That total of all the students who are, this is just a workshop, I am listing only the workshop. Just to give an idea, so I am not talking through my hat, I have all the numbers. That is the beauty of design. Remember what we started with? That I said it should be available to all our children. It should be free of cost. It should be good quality. We design it for this. We designed it for scalability, so it will scale. Because I created it for that purpose. Right? Okay. Now, lack of English fluency, another major problem. Very smart fellow, extremely bright, but not fluent in English. Not fluent in English. Especially people, if you look at the bottom of the society, right? Their parents may be uneducated, may not be wealthy, their neighborhood, their friend circle, their relatives, they are not fluent in English. Lack of environment. Lack of environment. Do we not help them? Should we not use taxpayers' money for them? What's the point in spending the money on the richest sections? Using government money. Doesn't make sense. They are the people who need. Of course, if you come up with a method that is useful to everybody, fantastic. I don't have to eliminate anybody. So our method is that way. We said we should make it suitable for other languages. So we said, let's dub our tutorials into all 22 languages. All 22 languages. Okay, I'm going to show you some languages. I'm going to show you that. So if you see here, let me go back to, in this, let's go back to C programming. Then we go to Hindi. Then we go tokens. We play this.
C और C++ में tokens पर spoken tutorial में आपका स्वागत है। इस ट्यूटोरियल में हम सीखेंगे कि tokens को परिभाषित और उनका उपयोग कैसे करें। हम यह एक उदाहरण की मदद से करेंगे। हम कुछ सामान्य एरर्स और उनके समाधान भी देखेंगे। इस ट्यूटोरियल को रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए मैंने एडिटर के कोड पहले से
you can see the video is in English. Video is in English. Is it a good thing or bad thing? Okay. What if I give the same program in Devanagari keyboard, Devanagari? Will it be useful to get a job? For C, remember our thing is for IT training, jobs, IT training. I am not here to promote languages. I am not here to promote languages. Because if I promote language, then they will say, you are not speaking Shuddha Hindi. So I will say, no, I am not promoting, I am not promoting languages. But I want to promote IT training for children who are weak in English. That's it. No, video is in English. They will use normal keyboard, normal computer, but to understand Hindi. And don't speak Shuddha Hindi, because it should be a language that people in that level can understand, right? Children of construction workers, rickshaw drivers, and so on and so forth. Will they understand Shuddha Hindi? You have to use common language. Same thing in Tamil, same thing in Marathi, and so on. You understand? So, okay. What other language do you want to listen to? Hindi I already showed. Any other language? Huh? Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's go to Rajasthani. We don't have many people to do the dubbing. Otherwise, we will have that also. Yeah, but I'm going to show you something. Let me show. Okay, let's play this.
C or C++ tutorials. ऊपर स्पोकन ट्यूटोरियल को स्वागत। यही ट्यूटोरियल आप सीखिएगा। ऊपर की ट्यूटोरियल प्रयास करिए। देखो उदाहरण समाचार अन्य है। हमें केवल सत्तावान एवं को सुगुड़ी को समाधान मध्य देखिएगा। यही ट्यूटोरियल ऊपर को
Okay. So Rajasthani we don't have. This is still not dubbed into Kashmiri, but I'll play some other thing in Kashmiri. So let me take something arbitrary. Inheritance. Is it okay? Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to show something else. Okay. Because if I can do this in this language, you can do it in any language. So basically we said we have 22 languages that belong to Schedule 8 of our Constitution, right? We said we will make them available for all our children, all the 22 languages. No language need to say. We said that because this method makes it available, high quality content. Remember, we are putting in 10 times the effort, right? Designed carefully, that same high quality content should be made available to every child in our country, every child, in the 22 languages. Because our constitution says there are 22 languages. We'll give it to every language. I don't want people to say, otherwise people will say, oh, my language is one in which there are many people. Some other people could say, mine is the oldest language. Then what about the minority languages, linguistic minorities? It is below 10 lakh. So should we not dub? Is it not our language? So we said we will dub it into all 22 languages, right? This is the second. Okay. Employment in IT industry needs English. So we dub only the audio. Video is in English, normal computer, normal keyboard. The company fellow doesn't even know in what language this fellow is thinking. Right? Of course, some people could say, but I want them to become better in English. Say, no problem. Listen to it in your mother tongue first, then listen to the English version. Because we have the English version. Listen to it. Yeah, your English also will improve. Right? And audio dubbing alone requires only 5% effort. Only 5% effort. Because video takes a lot of effort. I create it once, I freeze it, I don't touch it. Only the audio is changed. Right? I showed the dubbing in a few languages. Now this is another problem. Major problem. Remember, we are giving a solution for India, it's not for the world. So when I take a course from MIT, they will have solutions for their, okay, not for our problem. We have so many languages, our problem. We don't have teachers, our problem. We don't have internet, that's our problem. In fact, I could do this in China, for example, when I went, they could not see Google, they could not see YouTube, but they could see ours. Yeah, that's banned. In some other thing, it may not be there. Sometimes Jammu Kashmir, we don't have internet. You don't need internet. I'm going to show you. You don't need internet. Once it gets going, You have the whole thing in your fingertips. So what we did was, we created an offline shopping cart like download application. I'm going to show you how to do that. This is important. It's important not just, let's say, Kashmir, not some other place, China. It happens here. In IIT Bombay, one of the best institutions, internet doesn't work all the time. If lots of people come, suddenly there is a problem. We have to split them into 100 people here, 100 people here, 100 people here, and there is only one faculty member. How can the faculty member teach in all of them? There is a problem. You saw it, I believe, right? Yeah. So we have a problem in IIT. If this is the problem in IIT, imagine a school in Charsagoda, for example. No internet. No internet. Okay. So I'm going to show you the solution, and that is a method used. That is why we train 45 lakhs people. Okay. Okay. How does one do it? So you come here, come to our web page once again. Come to our web page once again. In software training, very first tab, there is something called create your own disk image. Create your own disk image. By the way, I have not even logged in. I have not even logged in. That's why it says login, because I have not logged in. I am not logged in. This is another policy decision we made. We found out that if the moment you put registration and login, 90% of the people leave. They don't want to register. Because there are so many passwords, who will remember? I don't know what information they will ask. So we said, we will not ask for registration. We will not ask for login. Let people come and take it, we don't care. I don't even want to know who they are. Whoever comes to our web page, come and take it, we don't care. In spite of it, I know the names, phone numbers, I know the details of 45 lakh students. Seems to be contradictory, right? Because it became so popular, colleges came and said that, our students will do it, make it available, we'll share the information. So all that is happening automatically. We came up with a policy, no login, no registration. So you don't have to register, you can actually come and see it. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create the offline thing. So you can say, so for example, I want C and C++, I want, let's say, basic level only, I want it in English, I want it in Hindi, I want it in Oriya, I want it in Telugu, and add selected files. The moment I select it, it comes here. File size is 412 MB. Now next, suppose I say, I will take only LibreOffice Writer. LibreOffice Writer is like MS Word. Basic level, and I say Kashmiri. Then I say add selected files. Now the file size is 480 MB. So I can pick and choose this topic, these languages, this topic, these languages, and I say create a zip file. It will create a zip file and give it to you. Okay, of course you need internet, but you need to download it only once. It's a zip file. It can happen through 2 days. If that is also not possible, you can go to the nearest cyber cafe, download it. Even that is not possible, you can ask your friend, can you please cut a CD and send it to me? Now you have all the information in that CD, in that zip file. You unzip it, copy that folder into every machine. Now you are ready to do. This is what I wanted to do for you. Had you brought laptops, I was told that not everybody brought laptops. Everybody needs a laptop. Everybody needs a headphone. Because everybody is listening in your language. Some people are rewinding it faster. Some people are going fast. Some people are rewinding 3-4 times. So this is asynchronous learning. In order to do asynchronous learning, you need laptops. Headphones I was ready to supply. But apparently that could not be organized, but doesn't matter. This can be organized in your college because I have told you everything. All the information is with you now, right? Now it says click here to download the CD content, but this is 480 MB. So I will not download, but I will show a file that I already downloaded. Okay? Already downloaded. So let me go to CD. We wanted to teach them how to do spreadsheet. They were actually volunteers collecting some health data, entering them. So when I unzip, remember this is a zip file, right? Click here to download the CD content zip file. When I download the zip file and unzip, I get these files. There is a file called index.html. So let me open that index.html. Now in a Windows machine you will double click and open that index. The moment it opens, see the first one URL. Can you see what does it say? It's small letter, but it says file. Only some of you in the first row can see that. Does it say file? Normally you will say http://, but here it is taken from file. So it says file://. And if you look at the last line here, anybody can see what it is? Index.html. That's the one that I clicked. Index.html. That is part of the zip file that you downloaded. Right? Now, look at the look and feel. It has the look and feel of my web page. Right? And it has only things that I downloaded. So this is calc. Calc is like spreadsheet, like Excel, open source. Only languages I downloaded for that software are there. Gujarati, submit. So here it is. So let me open one of these. Now, let me advance it. So you see that one of the things you would have noticed, there is no buffering. There is no wheel that rotates. Right? Okay, it stopped. Just imagine. Right? And when I rewind also, instantaneous. Instantaneous. Because even if you have, thank you. So even when you have good internet, even if it is fast, when you rewind, it will buffer. Whereas here, it is instantaneous. And there are studies in old days, how fast the internet should be, how fast the computer should respond for the learning process to be effective. It turns out that it has to be fast. Otherwise, people will not learn. They will lose interest. So, now, we made this, so internet is not required. Because everything is in a zip file. Everything is copied in the local machine. Okay, I am going to show some implications of this. I conducted this workshop on LaTeX at IIT Bombay. 250 people simultaneous. No problem. No problem. In fact, we even wrote a paper assessing the efficacy of a large hands-on silent workshop. 250 people, but nobody talking. Everybody had a headphone, listening, practicing. And if they had a question, we said, ask in the forum. We will answer it on the forum so everybody can see it. It was silent. Can you believe it? 250 people workshop, silent. No internet, no problem. In IIT we could do that. In fact, we could do this in Burma, Mandalay. We had to wait for electricity to come to take a photograph. To take a photograph, we had to wait. But you see, everybody is using a laptop. There is no desktop. Because power supply is erratic, unpredictable. Burma I am talking about. Myanmar. We did this in Mandalay. Okay? All computers were charged overnight. My spoken tutorials were copied through zip file. Open source software installed, they didn't have to pay a single paisa. We could conduct this workshop. So if we can do this in Myanmar, all of you can do it without any problem. And I have team members who are ready to come and help you. Okay. Now can you believe, now do you see the reason how we reached out to 45 lakh people? This is the method we adopted to reach out to 45 lakh people. Okay. Now the remaining things I'm going to go a little fast because I wanted you to get a feel of what we are doing and then scalability, availability and the help that is available. So will you all use it? Implement it? Yeah. I would want you to do that. In case you have a problem, let me know. In case you have a problem, in case you want to implement it in your lab, college lab, you need help, we'll help you. We'll help you. That's what we should do. Government has given me money for this. Because it requires a lot of effort to get this whole thing happening. Right? Yeah. 1 GB, but doesn't matter. You don't have to download everything. Download whatever you want, no? Because there are some restrictions. One time. Because I don't even know your login. I don't know who is downloading. No. Because it also depends on, so the question is, there is a limit of 1 GB download. I said only for that. You come back again, download something else. I don't keep track of who it is. Because we found that if we allow any size, then the web page becomes very slow. Web page becomes very slow, people start downloading, it is doing that all the time. So as a result, we said that 1 GB is more than enough. Download it, next time you download something else. No, there is no limit. Other than that, there is no limit. You can download any number of times. And we don't even know who is downloading. So how can I keep track of it? Right, understand? If I insisted on login, then I can say, sorry, 1 GB, no more GB, you have to pay. I'm not saying that. I'm giving it without taking your information. Current status. Okay. So I'm going to skip all this. Our website views are enormous. 70 lakh page views. 1 crore page views since 2017. 10-minute average visit time. 30% bounce rate. These are all considered very good. We trained 40 lakh students in 4 years. 37,000 college programs. Wipro uses Java Spoken Tutorial as one of their official learning methods. One of their official methods. Okay. We got some Wharton School Award. Google, which is an online company, gave me an award for the offline work. They are so happy. They said, fantastic. Right? Understand? Google is an online company. Yeah. Thanks. But this is the biggest thing for me. I was nominated for Hindustan Times for Mumbai Award. This is the biggest. This is the biggest. Because we are teachers. We don't write Harry Potter. We don't act in movies. We are not cricket players. Right? Only those people get award. Even to be nominated for Hindustan Times, it's a big thing. Right? Okay, I'm going to skip this. These are some feedback, which are all very good. I'm going to skip all this. Lots of papers. A school teacher got President's Award. Navodaya school teacher used our method. So here it is. He got President's Award for having incorporated this in the school. Apparently a KV teacher from Chennai also got this award. This person is from Shimla. A principal in Pondicherry said that 70 of the 88 students who got jobs in TCS said they got jobs thanks to Spoken Tutorial. Yeah? Anything you can see computers can be made available. So we have it on Scilab, we have it on LaTeX, we have it on LibreOffice Writer, how to write a letter, how to use a word processor, how to use a spreadsheet. Okay, next one is FOSSEE, where I am going to answer that Scilab question. Okay, how good is open source? I am going to quickly go through it because this is something I wanted to finish, but I got delayed. I got excited on seeing all of you. Okay, I just went deeper, but I think it is useful, right? So let's have a tea break and come back. Thank you. Thank you.